what's going on, guys? Will's Garage here. In this video, I'm going to be installing an aftermarket steering wheel on my E92 M3. I've been meaning to do this for a long time now. So I purchased these parts a few months ago, just never got around to installing it, but I'm going to do it now. As you can see, I decided to source my own parts to build out the steering wheel, which probably isn't the best idea because nowadays there's a bunch of vendors that make their own kit which you can install, and it's purely plug and play. For me, I love tinkering with things, which is why I purchase all the individual parts myself. And I also only need 2 buttons, so I think building out my own steering wheel made the most sense. So I got this steering wheel right here, which is a Sparco R383 steering wheel, and it's the logo model, which has the blue stripe and logo on the top. I'm honestly not a fan of the logo at the top right here, but this is the only steering wheel Sparco makes that has a blue stripe on the top, which I want because it's going to match the rest of my interior. And moving to the right here, I have the OMP steering wheel hub adapter, and then this is a star piece here in my opinion. This is the quick disconnect from Crontect, model QR03, and as far as I could tell from my research, this is one of the best, if not the best, quick disconnect in the market. It doesn't use a spline system. It has a unique shape right here, which lines up perfectly, as you can see right here. It just snaps right on, and it has absolutely zero play. The other very unique part about this is it has a 22-pin connector in here. You could get it with an 8-pin connector, but the price difference isn't that much, so I went with a 22-pin. Just in case I wanted to expand and add more buttons in the future. So it comes with these pins right here, which you'll need a special tool to crimp them onto the wires. There's the, let's see, these are the socket contacts, as you can see. And these are the pins. So the pins go into the socket. So I'll show the routing for it. And again, you'll need a special tool to crimp these. I don't have the tool yet, so once I receive it, I will show you guys the tool and how the crimping works. Then for the button plate, I just got a generic button plate, as you can see here. Nothing fancy or anything at all. If I do find some other button plate that looks better in the future, I might swap it out. And I got some cool titanium mounting bolts for the adapter right here. Yeah, and of course I just had to get this horn delete plate from Sub2 Speed House. When I saw it on Alex's car, I just couldn't resist but pick it up. I think it looks awesome. Oh, so one of the biggest pros, in my opinion, of getting the pre-built kit instead of building your own like I am right now is if you want to retain the M button. So the pre-built kit is just plug and play, and the M button's going to work properly. But if you're going to build your own like I am right now, it's going to require some jerry rigging. And honestly, I don't know exactly how to do it yet at this point. I'm just going to figure it out as I go along. But if you guys are seeing this video now, I most likely had figured out a way to do it. So I'm going to go into more detail on that after I remove the steering wheel. So let's get into it. Before removing the steering wheel and airbag, I'm just going to disconnect the battery, just in case. Alright, so I'm going to start off by removing the airbag. And in order to do so, there are 2 slots on each side right here. And if your airbag has not been removed before, it's going to be really hard spotting this hole. But as you can see, there's a little slot right here. So just take a screwdriver, flathead, should be able to feel a little bit of a spring tension. There we go. So just gotta push directly in. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay, there we go. This comes right out. There's 2 connectors down here. And the airbag comes right out. We're going to go ahead and remove this 16mm bolt right in the center, and the steering wheel should come right out. Whoa, came off a lot easier than I expected. Okay, so going back to this M button right here, as I mentioned earlier, it's not as simple as plugging in a aftermarket resistive button and having it work. And the reason behind that is because all the buttons on the steering wheel here run through the CAN bus system. And how that works, and I'm not an expert on this or anything, so don't quote me on this, but basically when you push one of these buttons, it'll send a specific code through the computer system, which will pick up. And each one of these buttons has a specific code assigned to it. So once you push the M button, it'll recognize the code specific to the M button, which turns M mode on or off. So the proper way to do it is to figure out the code specific to the M button and reprogram it so that resistive button would work. So I found a guy in Korea who sells the proper hardware and software to do that. And I read through the instructions, and honestly, I'm not really clear on how it all works. But before I go down that route, I'm gonna try to remove this button plate right here and look behind the circuit board to see how this button functions, and hopefully be able to just wire it directly onto the circuit board by soldering it. And hopefully that will just resolve the issue of being able to use the resistive button as the M button. And just to illustrate it a little bit better, here's the circuit board. Here's the membrane that goes on top of it. And as you can see here, the M button's on the upper left. So you press the M button, it presses these 2 contacts right here, which press into these 2 pins right here. So I'm going to try to solder, or before soldering, I'm going to touch these 2 contacts and test it out to see if it works. If it does work, I'm going to solder it down to these pins and it should be good to go. Alright, so I got the circuit board plugged in. These 2 contacts onto that point, press the button. Boom! It works. Holy smokes, I don't need to sniff out and figure out the code then. Alright, so since this button works, I'm just going to go ahead and solder the contact points, and I'm going to cut this wire off and figure out a way to hide the circuit board inside the adapter. now time to put on the adapter on the steering column. Instructions for the OMP adapter isn't very clear. It just tells you to align this top hole right here with the very top. So I'm just going to try to get as centered as I possibly can. I think this is just about as centered as it can be. So I am happy with this position right here. So we're going to go ahead and put in the 16mm bolt. Torque this to 46 foot-pounds. I have the wiring plugged in. I'm going to tuck the circuit board and hide it inside the adapter. Alright, so we are ready to put the steering wheel on now. So this is what it looks like. Let's test out the buttons on the ignition. Well, that's kind of strange. The M button just automatically, automatically went to M mode without me pushing the M button. That sucks. This is a fail moment right here. The M button does not work. How about the horn? Okay, at least the horn works. Let's try it again. Ignition off. Ignition on. Alright, so it just automatically goes into M mode. And the M button does not work. So I think what might have happened, well, let me backtrack and think about this here. So I did test the controls earlier, as you guys saw in the video, and when I touched the wires on the 2 pins for the M button on the circuit board, it worked properly. So also after I soldered the pins, I did tests for the continuity, and it checked out fine. Then I cut the cords for the buttons on the left side because I don't need that. That's the only thing I could think of that may have caused this issue. So it's kind of a mystery. If you guys happen to know why this is happening, please let me know in the comments section. But unfortunately, my M button doesn't work. But at least it automatically goes into M mode when I start the car, which honestly I don't mind. I always want it to be in M mode anyways. But yeah, so that's the steering wheel. Let's see if I can remove it. Awesome. Comes off super easily. Goes on even easier.